Hi, everyone. Jacqueline Kuhn with JacquelineKuhn.com, powered by angels. I'm here at the beginning of 2026 to talk about manifesting in 2026, how it's going to be important that we integrate our thoughts, our actions, and add divine trust, given that we're in an angel number 2026, right? It's a new year. It's a six, not a five, and there's a little different energy. Manifesting also needs to look a little different this year because outside of angel numbers, there's a lot of powerful energy. It's like a fiery year of the horse. There are going to be a lot of planetary changes going on throughout the year, and manifesting needs to go a little deeper. And so this is about truly transforming the way you manifest. This isn't about just setting resolutions like you do any other year. This is intentionally manifesting and what you need to do to really ensure that what you are trying to accomplish this year comes to fruition for you. So the first is we are in year 2026, and in angel numbers, that means trusting in the divine timing as you manifest things on earth. 2 is trust, 0 is divine, and 6 is all things of this earth. So trust in divine timing as you manifest things on this earth. It's really making sure you honor the process, that you accept that things may not unfold when you want them to, but that divine timing will take place when the universe is ready, and more importantly, when you are ready. It may be that you want something faster than you're truly ready for it, or you're ahead of what is, you're ahead of the curve from a universal curve. So the timing part of your manifestations are going to get a little tricky this year because when we set goals, we try to put timelines and deadlines around them. We're going to have to say things like, while I would like to achieve this by June, I will trust in divine timing to help me achieve it when the time is right. It's that kind of time boxing that we are going to need to do for 2026. Because it's going to be a very different year from last year. Last year was a 5. It was a change year. This year is manifesting earthly things. 6, all things of this earth. And when we're trying to do things of this earth in a divine manner, earth time and divine time are 2 different things. And we have to kind of take a step back and say, while, like I said earlier, while I would love to achieve this by X, I will accept the divine timing whenever it comes. Okay. And we really want to not get frustrated with the process. So how do we really redefine our manifesting for the year? What do we need to do to make sure that it works? The first is really making sure that our energy is aligned with our intentions, our thoughts, our emotions, our belief are fully aligned, and we have harmonious flow between all of those so that we can achieve what we want to. It is about self-awareness. It is about mindfulness and making sure that we integrate our mind, body, and spirit. What we say, what we think, what we do, all needs to be aligned with our intentions so that it can come to fruition. It's no longer, I don't even think it ever was, but really you can't just meditate and pray and say, okay, I did my meditation and prayer and it's going to happen. You have to act accordingly to make it happen. You have to really make sure you are aligned with what you are asking to happen. And importantly, change what needs to change in order to ask for what you are looking for. It really requires an emotional alignment. How do you feel about yourself, the world, what you're asking for? How do you really feel emotionally about it? How do you react when it doesn't go your way? Or are you grateful when it comes about, right? How do you emotionally react? What are you thinking about? Your thought alignment. Are you thinking positively about when it's going to happen? Are you thinking positively about what you need to do to make something happen? Or do you have self-doubt? Or are your thoughts on the negative? The first thing you do is focus on why it won't work, right? Focusing on why it won't work will guarantee that it won't work. So your thought has to be aligned as well. And then your actions. Are you taking the actions to have your manifestations come true? Or are you going through the motions? Or are you continuing to do what you did last year that didn't work? And therefore, but expecting a different result, right? So you really need to make sure how you feel, how you think, and how you act are all aligned to what you want the outcome to be, because if they're not, then what you want to achieve will not be achievable. So as we begin 2026, I encourage all of you to begin a journaling ritual, journaling habits, if you don't already have them. I think that this year, especially, you're going to need to develop them. Journaling in a book on paper is what most people, agree that spiritually is the best way to journal. But if you have to do it electronically, if you do it by taking notes on your phone, or if you do it by text to voice, right? Speaking in your phone about what you're thinking instead of writing it down, that's better than nothing, right? But you really need to begin recording things so that you can go back and take a look at what's happening. And so this first journal opportunity is really to understand when you have doubt or negative thoughts as your first reaction to something and why. So something happens, and did you react positively or with potential possibility, or was it a no, not, can't reaction? So record whenever a doubt or negative thought is your first reaction to something that has happened. And then why? Why was that your first reaction? Why was that your first thought? Like, what was the circumstance around it? The next journaling prompt is when your actions don't support your intentions, right? When you did something that doesn't help you get to where you want to go. So if you do have a goal and it requires you to write a blog, call people, create some content, do X, Y, and Z, save some money, whatever that is. But then you did something that is counter, that gets in the way or blocks that from happening. Record that, and don't beat yourself up. Just record it. Because you're going to be reflecting, and there are going to be other journal opportunities to reflect as I walk through this. But you need to record it because you need to understand when you're not aligned and why, so that you can then think about, how do I get more aligned? If you don't already have a journal, if you wish to record in writing, which I do prefer, go get yourself a book. Obviously, in my store, I have journals with archangels on them. Your archangel for your birth sign is a great start, or Archangel Haniel for positive thoughts if you're in female energy. If you are a woman, Archangel Michael for protection, or if you're a man, for male energy, Archangel Raphael for healing. If you feel that you've got a lot of healing that needs to happen in 2026, but take this opportunity to start a fresh journal and begin with having a section to record when your actions don't support your intentions and when negative thoughts creep in. You need to understand that your mindset shapes the outcome. The way you perceive something, the way you approach people, ideas, etc., it influences what happens next. I don't know who said it first, so but I know this quote is probably attributed to someone, but I'm just not sure who. If you think you can, you will. If you think you can't, you won't. And this is so true, because if you think that you can't do something, you will not be able to do it. Your mind really shapes the outcome. You have to believe that what you're trying to do is attainable. You have to, understand and internalize the possibility of it happening. It may be a huge stretch goal for you, maybe something you've never achieved before, but you have to believe that you can, or you will be a self-fulfilling prophecy. So your mindset absolutely shapes the outcome. Approach it with a possible positive intention, and you have a chance of getting it done and getting it done right. Negatively, you may as well just stop, right? You need to switch that mindset in order to achieve. And the thing about mindset and how we think and how we react is our experiences shape our mindset. And in fact, this is actually one of the divine law principles about how we learn how to react. We learn, it's a learning. Being bad or being evil is learned. Not being positive is learned, right? Our experiences really act as, that lens with which we interpret the world around us. And two different people's experience will interpret things very differently. So if you're driving on the road and you haven't done anything wrong, and the police siren goes off and the lights are turning, you think, oh, I have to pull over so he can get, away from me, get by me because there's an emergency going on. If you know you were speeding, or you blew off a red light, or you did something wrong, or your license plate is expired, something like that, you'd be like, oh crap, I'm in trouble. They're coming after me. And so that experience of knowing you did something will shape your reaction. Or if you've been pulled over before for speeding, or you're maybe somewhere you don't belong, and you're being questioned by security, the experiences that you have had will really impact your reaction. And so even, positive or negative encounters will contribute to a framework. If you know someone and every time you encounter them, it's a negative experience, you may begin to avoid them, right? Because you're like, oh God, there's that person again, and they're always so negative, and you just avoid them. Conversely, if there's someone who's always positive and has something nice to say, and you'll look forward to seeing them. Going to a store that treats you well versus one that doesn't, right? A boss who is very supportive versus one that doesn't. All of those encounters really contribute to how you think and how you react. Culturally, how I grew up culturally in, a suburb of Chicago is very different how somebody else may have grown up culturally in a suburb of Atlanta or a farm in Texas, right? Our social experiences, right? Did you go to public school? Did you go to private school? Did you study abroad? social experiences also build our worldview, of how we see the world. And so looking at our experiences and learning from them and learning what they have taught us about how we see the world, allows us to understand why we see things the way we do, why we think about things the way we do, why we react to things the way we do, and then allows us to grow and adapt through change. Allows us to say, okay, well, that doesn't serve me anymore. That's not my current viewpoint. I need to put that aside. I need to build a separate viewpoint. So we all come at this with very different experiences. And when we manifest, the act of creating what it is, stating and identifying what it is we want is a pretty, I don't want to say simple, but it's a task. You state what you want. How we go about getting it is going to be different based on how we view the world, based on our experiences and what we believe we need to do to make that happen. And so the next journaling opportunity is really about experiences in your mindset so that you're going into this with the right mindset. And so I would ask yourself, what experiences has shaped the way you think that are no longer true? Like what happened in your past that you might still be carrying around, but really when you look at it, they're no longer true. Um, or they don't apply to you anymore, right? You're no longer that teenager. You're no longer, grieving from that loss. You have moved on, right? And so what experiences can you leave behind, as you move into 2026? And then think about what new experiences do you want so that you can be better aligned with your desired mindset, right? That you can be better aligned with what you're trying to manifest. What do you need to do? What new experiences do you need to happen? I mean, maybe you want to do something, but you've never done it before. So what do you have to make happen in order to experience that? It could be as simple as going to the library, reading a book, or for some of you, you need to move because the community that you're in is no longer supportive of what you want, or there's no way to achieve what you want based on where you live. So think about experiences that you've had that that you need to set aside and say, okay, this is no longer me, this is no longer who I am. And then think of what do you need to experience to help get better aligned with your 2026 manifestations. Because some of you are going to have to, go places and see people and talk to people and do things you've never done before, just so that you can achieve the next level. This isn't about being the same person and doing the same thing that you've always done. This is about truly transforming. And then actions. It's actions in manifestation are so important. The whole adage, actions speak louder than words, right? Making sure your thoughts, emotions, and behaviors are all aligned. Making sure you actively participate in creating your reality. Great example is for someone who is unhappy in their job. Well, what have you done to find a new job? You know, is it dusting off a resume? Is it looking for opportunities, right? Is it, you know, inside your organization or outside your organization? What have you done to actively participate in that? You can pray on it, but if you don't take those steps to make it happen and you're not actively participating, the universe can't pick up your intention because they're like, well, this doesn't make sense. You're saying you want this, but you're not doing anything. Your intentions are that bridge, right? Between what you want, what you dream about, and having it. It makes sure that the universe understands that you're committed to making it happen and that you're determined to make it happen. And as your actions support your intentions and your manifestations, your mindset starts changing with possibility, and abundance becomes easier because, okay, now you're doing what you need to do, right? Now you're moving towards what needs to happen. Intentional actions over time will ensure consistency, right? And, not everything is going to work. You're going to have things that work and things that don't. But if you consistently act with the intention of achieving what you need to achieve, you will begin to develop persistence. So if one thing doesn't work, you're like, okay, well, that didn't quite work out the way I thought. Maybe I tweak it here and I move on. I do something a little different, right? Because not everything is going to work. Just because we want something to work doesn't mean it's going to, and it doesn't, or it doesn't mean the timing is right. The universe might say, yeah, you did a great job, but it's just not going to happen right now for whatever reason. But being persistent because you are acting intentionally, because you are recognizing the forward momentum that you may be making, that's really important. And then the karma around it. I don't talk enough about karma, and I probably should, because the energy we send out, we get back. And so as we start sending out the energy to achieve what we want to achieve, that comes back to us. We do it in a positive, aligned way. We're thinking the right way. We're acting the right way. We're doing the right things. We're feeling positive about it. So that energy starts coming back to us, and our outcomes become successful much more quickly. And because the universe is like, yeah, okay, I get it. You really want this to happen. You're really working at it. We're going to bring that back to you. And so, because karma is all about the energy you put out there will come back to you. It's like a boomerang, right? It's going to come back. So what energy are you putting out there? And you can't be positive all the time. I understand that. Bad things happen, and sometimes we get the daily dippies, but it's about being more consistent, right? Being more consistent. And so the journaling opportunity for actions and intentions are really a little bit of looking back. I think I really feel and find, and I'm getting messages that we need to look at what happened last year. What actions did we take last year that didn't align with what we wanted to manifest and therefore negatively impacted our efforts? What actions did we take that did not align with what we wanted to achieve and it negatively impacted our efforts? Then what did we do last year that did align and positively impacted our efforts? Right? It's really kind of taking an accounting of, okay, what didn't work and what did work, and where was that alignment that did work, so that we can understand that springboard we have going into this year. And so then we can journal about, all right, now what do we need to do in 2026 to align with what we want this year? Like, what positive actions do we need to take? And sometimes these positive actions are acquiring, new partnerships, meeting new people, or letting things go. Maybe one of the actions is outsourcing something that you were doing yourself. Maybe you're not the best content creator, and maybe you have to get help doing that. Maybe it's as simple as you don't have enough time to, clean your house, and you just want to get some light housekeeping done on a regular basis to take that pressure off of you. Whatever it is that's standing in your way, identify what you need to do so that it's no longer an obstacle for you. And it could be a variety of things, right? So it's like, what do you need to do, and what actions do you need to take to make that happen? And so look at where you got derailed, and why you got derailed. And then look at what worked, so that you can create your plan for 2026 and be in alignment. What is incredibly important as we manifest is authenticity and harmony and balance. It is that balance between our inner beliefs and our outer behaviors that creates that authenticity of who we are and then the trust in our intentions. When we are authentic, the universe and others in general will trust our intentions. When we live up to our commitments, when we say we're going to do things and we do them, the universe and everybody around us believe in us and trust that what we say is true, that we are going to do what we need to do, and then they will take the appropriate action as well. Aligning our behavior, our inner and outer beliefs and behaviors really takes the, the step of making sure our core values, the principles, what we are at our foundations, are consistently reflected through everything we do, actions, decisions, etc., personal and business. So you may have business goals you want to achieve, you may have personal goals you want to achieve, but you have to have the same core values and principles on both sides. You can't say that you're going to be one way personally, but you can be a different way in business. No, that the universe does not understand that. You need to be authentic. You need to be authentically self, one way. Your values are your values. Your principles are your principles. If you are in a job that's compromising your principles, find one that doesn't. If you are with people who aren't supportive of your core values, then find your tribe. Find people who are. When these are in sync, not only does the universe trust our intentions, we begin to create this self-respect. So we trust ourselves. We believe in ourselves. And when we believe in ourselves, we have positive attitude, we have positive energy, and that cycle continues. And so it is really important to reflect regularly on how our behavior is mirroring our beliefs, and adjust wherever we need, which really lends us to the last journaling opportunity for manifesting. And that's all about, reflecting on last year and look at where your external behavior, words or deeds, didn't reflect your internal beliefs. And I do say words or deeds. Words are anything you spoke, anything you wrote, your social media presence, you responded to somebody in a social media thread that you then had this gut reaction of, oh, why did I do that? Right? That's not me. Your deeds, did you do something that isn't really aligned with who you are, or not do something that's that you wanted to do, that you felt that you let yourself and or others down? So reflect on when that happened. And then if you had to be unauthentic, when something like that happened, when your external behavior did not reflect who you were, like, find out why. Why did that occur? Was it you felt pressured? Was it, a fear of belonging? Was it you were just angry in the moment and you lashed out without thinking? So just like, why? Like, why did you do that? So that you can understand when you are in situations where you're not presenting your authentic self. And so obviously to fix that, just, think about and write down, what do you need to change? So that doesn't happen in 2026, so that you can be more authentic in both your words and your deeds. Our words and our deeds are so important in the external energy of the world. What we say and what we do reflects on us, and all of that consistency, all of that alignment is necessary in order to be able to manifest what we wish to manifest in the coming year. 2026 is a year of divine timing and manifesting of this earth. 6 in angel numbers is an earthly number. I will be talking throughout the year about the archangels to work with the energy. In general, 2026 is about Archangel Ariel, who is Mother Earth. It is about our divine feminine energy and intuition in Archangel Haniel, and our divine protector Michael, and our divine masculine energy. Those are the archangels that are going to be front and center, and you're going to consistently hear me talk about them because this is going to be a very interesting year. Not everybody is going to feel that their souls may not have signed up for what's happening or what's going to happen, but it's a fabulous year for manifesting um, things of the earth, money, jobs, relationships. It's really last year was the year of change that set us up, and if you did your work last year, you will definitely be able to prosper and take advantage of this year. And to all those out there, if you need any help, obviously, please check out my website. I'd be more than happy to help you in any of your manifesting, your journaling, whatever it is you need to take to be the best you in 2026. Blessings to all, and I look forward to coming you with angels and astrology across on this YouTube channel very soon. Goodbye for now.